What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel here on Super Bowl weekend. And it is time to kick off our second episode of the Realistic Rebuilds, our second team. And I felt like this was really one of my most requested things just to do in general. When I did that big feedback video, like, man, you should do something with the Eagles. Do something where you fix the Eagles, where you rebuild the Eagles. I was like, why not just get them in early for my Realistic Rebuild series? And I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's get into it. And it makes sense because we just did our run through with the Vegas Raiders. I'm loving going through the comments and reading all the positive stuff that you guys were digging it. But that was a rebuild where we had to take a team and really develop them, build them up. And the second episode, the second part, the 5 years 6 through 10 was our prime years ready to win, right? But taking over a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, this is a team that's already in the Super Bowl window. This is a team that 2 years in, your salary cap is robbed. You have no money to spend. You have to make unbelievably tough cuts. Your team gets depleted. And I feel like that's a different challenge. And that's kind of what I wanted to experience here in this second rebuild. A team that's going to be, I pretty much have to rebuild them at some point during these 10 years. So that's why I think it's going to give it a little bit different perspective, different style within these Realistic Rebuilds. Well, let's look at the roster here first. We got to make some roster cuts here anyways. So we have the franchise in Carson Wentz, 83 overall. He's 26. He's a beast. The only thing everyone always knows I complain about Carson Wentz stats. I'm looking at his stats here. Really, the only thing that looks kind of off, I would say, is his throw under, I think his under pressure probably could be maybe a little higher, but his throw power needs to be higher. Carson Wentz absolutely should have like 92, 93 throw power. That's it. I would say just fix that, and that's a good-looking Carson Wentz. It'd probably knock him up to an 84 overall. That's probably where he should be. But either way, he's a nice-looking quarterback, clearly franchise quarterback. We got very expensive backups here in Josh McCown, who hopefully at some capacity comes back on the Eagles coaching staff. We have Nate Sudfeld, who's I actually think is better than a 57 overall. I think he should be like low 60s. He played like, 2 games for the Eagles, looked good enough to come in and operate the offense. Anyways, those are going to be 2 easy ways to eventually get over the salary cap. So let's just kind of, we know McCown is the backup, but ultimately he's pretty much retired. So we'll just get rid of that now. Look at the running back. So we got Jordan Howard on a 1-year deal. He's 79 star, only 24, so a legit option to re-sign. But with Miles Sanders here, 78, hidden dev trade rookie at a Penn State, who is very much in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's, it's nice having 2 running backs in Madden, especially when that's how your team plays in the sim, but ultimately you should only have money invested in one. And Miles Sanders, second-round pick, he's not going to be a cheap running back down the stretch. He's not going to be cheap to re-sign. So I think when push comes to shove, we should just make Miles Sanders our lead back, which I think he's earned that right. And Jordan Howard probably isn't going to be with us after 1 year. Darren Sproles, living legend, but because we're going to make our cuts and he is officially now retired, enjoy retirement. Go chill in the sand, young buck. Beyond that, though, we get some interesting running backs here. Holyfield, I like to stash him on the practice squad. I liked him coming out of Georgia. Boston Scott's becoming a legend for the Eagles. Corey Clement, is he even still on the Eagles? But I don't forget what he did during that Super Bowl year. But I'm mostly going to be going Sanders and Boston Scott, I think, for my running backs down the stretch for this rebuild. That's my plan. Wide receivers, things gets really interesting. So we got Alshon, who we probably want to try and move on from. 85 star, he's 29. Deshaun Jackson, Band-Aid, expensive Band-Aid, deep threat, he's 32. Aguilar's on a 1-year deal. He's going to be gone next season. Can we develop Arcega-Whiteside? He did have a hidden dev trait at the beginning of the Madden cycle, but after just being horrible during the stretch of the real season, we got to work cut out for this. G. Ward might even be more promising right now than Arcega-Whiteside. Like, looking at our wide receivers that have any upside. Okay, we'll get rid of Shelton Gibson. He's just kind of chilling. Arcega-Whiteside and Greg, I'm going to try and develop them. I think there's a challenge within that as an Eagle fan doing this rebuild is getting guys that, if you're just doing the Eagles straight up, prospect for prospect, have no attachment, you're probably going to cut Greg Ward. But I want to see if I can make Greg Ward and Arcega-Whiteside something, make them into something. Tight end, we got Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. So now we have 2 tight ends, which in real life, we'll get rid of Lovato here, the long snapper. Congratulations on your wife for singing the national anthem in the Super Bowl. We got Rich Rodgers. He's terrible. I don't know why we keep bringing him back. Maybe because he knows the playbook. But 2 tight ends. This is a realistic rebuild. And I was stating realistically, understanding what it would probably do to the locker room, wouldn't be positive to the locker room, but when there's all those Jalen Ramsey trades, I said I would trade Zach Ertz. If that was a way, if it was player for player, Zach Ertz to a tight end hungry team in Jacksonville, and we get Jalen Ramsey our way, I would have made that move. And now that we're focused in Madden, there's even more of a pressing issue. You don't need 2 tight ends in Madden. I'm not going to be able to convert any of these guys to wide receiver. That'd be stupid. So unless we straight up make one of them wide receiver on our depth chart, we gotta do something. And clearly the upside is with Dallas Goedert, 82 star. But Zach Ertz, he lost his X factor. He's only a superstar. He's 28. He's not gonna regret. You're just in a really, really rough spot because you want to maximize your assets. I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna put Zach Ertz on the trade block. Just see what kind of offers come in. Maybe we can make a blockbuster deal and go with Goddard as our lead tight. I'm gonna see. We'll sniff around that. It's not gonna be something I'm automatically gonna do. We have time, but we gotta do something. We gotta make a call. So going to the offensive line, we have Jason Peters on a 1 year. You got Dillard here. I'm probably actually gonna slide Dillard in to left guard so we can get some playing time as a rookie. He's a 69 with a normal dev. Then we just got Jason Peters for the time being. Or obviously we could probably maybe move Peters into guard if we really wanted to. But one of these two guys, they're both going to be playing and starting for us this season. Left guard, I mean, we got Isaac Seumalo. I know we're going to be tight against the salary cap. That is a salary that is pretty bad, and we're going to want to move on from that as soon as we can. Center, Jason Kelsey, the best center in the National Football League. I think it's almost undisputed at this point. Right guard, Brandon Brooks, but the age is 31. You got 30. Lane Johnson's 29. There are a lot of issues with this Philadelphia. Okay, we'll get rid of Big V's contract. Big V, goodbye. You could probably start on some teams of the NFL, but we'll get rid of Big V. Does Mike Lotta still have star? He does still have star unjustly, but old offensive line. It's a good offensive line, but it's an old offensive line. So we're going to have to reshuffle this. I'm hoping these guys can last until we get the Madden generated classes where I can draft offensive linemen very successfully. So that's kind of what I'm going to gamble there. From the defense, so we got Brandon Graham, veteran, 87 overall with a star dev. Josh Sweat waiting in the wings. He's 22. I think that's a perfect age that, once it's going to be time to clearly move on from Brandon Graham, I think someone like Josh Sweat can step in and maybe be our answer long-term at one of the defensive end spots. We have Derek Barnett on the other side. Gennard Avery. I'm actually I want to move Avery back to linebacker. I think he could be like a rush linebacker for us. So let's do something like, let's just see what this does. If we move him back to right outside linebacker, he's 73. He's already an upgrade. He's going to stay at linebacker for us, for at least the time being. Because we got Derek Barnett here at defensive end, 77 stars, only 23. We should be able to grow and develop him into a nice rusher. Maybe the future of the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be Josh Sweat and Derek Barnett at defensive end. Inside, we got Fletcher Cox, the best defensive tackle not named Aaron Donald in the National Football League. We got a very ugly contract for a 29-year-old Malik Jackson. Jernigan's only on a 1 year. Ultimately, we have to find a suitable partner and maybe potential long-term replacement for Fletcher Cox at defensive tackle. But for right now, it is what it is. It's just all I can say about this position is I want to get Malik Jackson's contract off the books and let Fletcher Cox do his thing, as he is a superstar X factor with that fear-monger ability. Linebacking core is, it is what it is. Camus, for whatever reason, I've seen it in Sim because he comes a free agent like year 2, year 3. He gets a star dev. He's a common dev trade upgrade, and he'll be 26. I mean, there might be something there with Camus. I like him. He's a jack of all trade for the Philadelphia Eagles, like, emergency kicker, solid special teamer. I think he's been okay in spot duty when he has to actually play linebacker. So he might be able to do something there. Inside, Nigel Bradham. Want to get rid of that contract. There's no team options in Madden, but in real life, he has a team option this offseason. Would not be surprised if he does not get picked up for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. Got Alex Singleton, CFL All-Star, TJ Edwards, rookie from Wisconsin, who I actually thought played pretty well. So I don't know if there's actually going to be an out of Nigel Bradham's contract. Maybe next year's salary cap is going to be really easy to move on from, but we're going to get that cap off our books. Avery will be our outside linebacker. Look at the corners. Darby is terrible from a Madden sense. He's not brutal, but he's on a 1 year deal. We're probably not going to re-sign him. Maddox has some upside, 77 star. He's only 23. Sidney Jones, a guy, 76 star. I think at 23 in real life, it's been up and down for him in his career, struggling to stay healthy. I think we're going to try and develop him. I would love to see Maddox and Sidney Jones develop here. We got Cravon LeBlanc, really solid slot corner. Rasul Douglas ain't bad either. Jalen Mills, not so much. If you don't know anything about me when I talk about the Eagles, this is a long time coming. Jalen Mills, he's a safety. So we're going to move him to safety. We got Rasul Douglas, just cuz. We're going to move you to safety. Just depth, doesn't matter. Those are our corners. And if there's a way that I can grow and develop Maddox, Jones, and Crayvon LeBlanc as Strap LeBlanc as my 3 corners, I will do that for this rebuild. At safety of Roddy McLeod, solid. He's in his contract year. I'm not going to lie. If there's a way that we can make Jalen Mills and develop him into a safety, the Green Goblin, I'm going to try to do it. But for right now, Roddy McLeod will be our starter. And at strong safety, we have Malcolm Jenkins, 87 overall, starter, the leader of the Philadelphia Eagles defense. In real life, it's uncertain if he's going to be back for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2020. How that's going to play out in this rebuild, I don't know just quite yet. But we got Rasul Douglas, who we might be able to grow and develop. What a way if we could have all the Eagles corners just take over the secondary and be DBs, be classified as DBs. Jake Elliott, one of the more expensive kickers, but 97 kick power. If we ever have to hop in and kick a field goal, he's the kind of guy you want, stylistically. Johnston's an okay punter as well. Our draft picks line up fairly well. We got 2/5. Sure. So rebuilding the Eagles. This one's always close and near and dear to my heart. It's going to be interesting how we deal with the salary cap and the aging players. That is that's annoying, I guess. That's how I have to view an Eagles rebuild. It's not so much, I can't wait to win a Super Bowl again with this team. I can't wait to get Carson Wentz to Super Bowl. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to have a bunch of old players and no money. That is how this rebuild is going to go. How are we going to deal with it? I have no idea right now, but let's get into it. And one thing that already pissed me off is, I hope you watched the Raiders rebuild. We drafted Henry Ruggs as just a surplus requirement pick. He didn't really, he played for us. He never had a huge season, but I don't want to reuse the same draft players. Henry Ruggs would be the perfect pick for the Philadelphia Eagles if we can select him in our first draft. But I have to refrain from doing that. So I'm kind of shooting myself with some of the players that we used and selected in the first realistic rebuild. So we have to be, a little bit more creative here with the Philadelphia Eagles. So let's get into year number 1. So the trade offers we got for Zach Ertz, didn't get a single first-round pick. I don't want to make anything too unrealistic. Again, I'm not really in backed against the wall or anything like that. I'm not in a corner. I don't have to trade him. Just kind of see what can I get for him. So I'm gonna venture out, see if we can get something else that looks a little bit more appealing. But it's looking like we're gonna go with Ertz and Goddard, at least here in year 1. And fairly early, we actually got a really, really nice scenario. Week 5, we beat the Jets 42-10, and a breakout scenario for Miles Sanders. I actually have no idea what his dev trade was, but now we know. He is a superstar, which is great for one of the best young running backs, I think, in the National Football League. Right there with Josh Jacobs out of this year's draft class. So we are actually dominating here this season. Injuries are turned off. And I think something I have seen in the comments is hey, you should turn the injuries. I've never at any point ever in my rebuilds have had injuries on, ever. It's stupid because I tried it once and literally it just makes for a shitty rebuild because you have no control over it. And while within the term of realism, injuries do happen, it just wasn't fun because more often than not, everyone knows Madden injuries. It was just my starting quarterback's hurt 3 out of the 5 years we're doing this rebuild. Of course it's going to suck. So it kind of eliminates the team building aspect. So it's do you want to be most realistic or do you want to be most team building? And I've always gone on the side of team building. So a healthy Eagles team at 8-1's not shocking, but I'm feeling pretty good. We're top dogs in the NFC East right now. Looking at the stats, Carson Wentz playing pretty damn well. Top 10 quarterback. We've had the dev trade. I will say right now we failed a lot of dev traits. We have had one scenario for Miles Sanders that correctly went off. We have had on the defense, Derek Burnett has had 2 that we failed to get, and Gennard Avery had 1. So that's kind of crappy. Derek Burnett just itching, fiended to go to a superstar dev, and the sim will not let it happen. But let's look at contracts here. We got no money. This is where things get a little tough. We're gonna start right now. We're gonna give. Oh my God, why does Greg Ward want? I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna re-sign Greg Ward, but I'm gonna let him hit free agency first. So that's what's gonna happen with Greg Ward. Same with Boston Scott. These contracts are simply ridiculous. You can get him for an eighth of that price if you let him hit free agency. But as an Eagle fan, based on last year, I'm not gonna negotiate in-house deals with Boston Scott and Greg Ward because those are audacious, non-super realistic numbers. That's insane. But I will bring them back 100% once they dip into free agency. Let's see. Jalen Mills at free safety. That's actually a reasonable deal. I'll give Jalen Mills a 4-year deal. See if he'll come back and he can grow and develop as a new safety. Camus, that looks again, man. What are these contracts? These are very expensive contracts. These are all guys gambling that the best football's ahead of them. So at the top end, man, a lot of these guys got to walk. And like I said, I'm making a commitment that we will bring back Boston Scott and Greg Ward in free agency for an eighth of that price. And at the end of year one, first round buy for our Philadelphia Eagles. Again, need to stress, this rebuild is much more going to be about pretty much year 3 to 10. Probably not even 10. Hopefully by 10 we're back around for the second wave of our Super Bowl window. But like year 3 to 6 is going to be tough. But we're 13-3. Great way to kick off it by winning the NFC East. I didn't earn any other depth trades. Looking at the stats here, Carson Wentz played very well. 4,000, almost 4,100 passing yards. Being the first Philadelphia Eagle quarterback in history, going over 4,000 yards. 30 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, which is really good knowing that the Eagles tend to have really, really good running back numbers in the sim. Like touchdown-wise, and as you can see, very high. Over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns for Miles Sanders, 9 touchdowns for Jordan Howard. Carson Wentz had 4 rushing touchdowns. I like seeing that. Receiving, hey, redemption to our Thega-Whiteside. 67 catches, 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. We can only wish that's what he did his rookie season. 904 for Alshon, 850 and 8 for Deshaun, 760 and 6 for Ertz. Sanders did pretty well. Again, see, there's no point to having 2 tight ends in a Madden sim. It just doesn't work. There's no 2 tight end playbooks. Defensively, I gave a brand new deal to Camus because I think he might be getting a dev trade based upon these numbers, and I don't want a 26 superstar dev linebacker walking in free agency, so we signed him a 4-year deal, $20 million, 110 tackles, 6 TFLs, 5.5 sacks, 4 interceptions for Camus, 11 sacks Brandon Graham, 8 from Derek Barnett, 7 from Fletcher Cox. We got the 4 picks from Camus leading the team. Jenkins had 2, a couple singles across the board. Looking at the yearly awards. Give me out of this. Come on, C4. MVP went to Mitchell Trubisky. Good. It's going to be one of those rebuilds. I saw this in the comments. Obviously, we can't do it right now. I didn't think about it, but it makes more sense. Should I just remove Andrew Luck from the game? Like, should I just make him a punter and retire him so that he can't, like, be alive in our world? Let me know in the comment section right now if I should be retiring Andrew Luck. Carson Wentz coming number 8 in the MVP race. 3rd in NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year went to Kilomac. Camus, number 2, so I'm glad we got that new contract in. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to Kyler Murray. Miles Sanders coming in number 3. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Tavai. Quarterback Rodgers, Zeke, Adams. Not seeing a whole lot here in ways of your Philadelphia Eagles winning individual awards, but the team's success was paramount, winning the NFC East. Don't make me shed a tear. Jason Peters, this is his last hurrah. That's why we didn't deal with his contract. I know he's going to retire. Okay, we got to win one for JP. Got to win one for the bodyguard. Let's spend some points here. Again, trying to focus on scheme fits, especially for our Thega-Whiteside, who I want to be a slot, especially for my corners, who I want them to be zoned to fit Jim Schwartz's scheme. And they both actually went up 1 point overall, which is nice. So here in the first round of the playoffs, we're taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Last time Philly took on the Vikings in the playoffs, I do not want to open that wound. That's pretty much healed at this point for Viking fans. It was not a pretty game, but Nick Foles was under center. Now with Carson Wentz, let's see what we can do here in year 1. All right, Philly, Minnesota. Kirk Cousins trying to do something here at Lincoln Financial Field. I'm sure yet again the Viking fans are going to be like, oh, the Eagles fans were mean. They should be disqualified from going to the Super Bowl. Look into it. That was a real petition they tried to make. But it looks like Minnesota's starting out hot. I mean, Philadelphia, schematically, doesn't match up great against Minnesota. I mean, we could probably take Dalvin Cook away, but Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen should have their way on our secondary. It's going to have to be a game that our offense can match the Vikings offense blow for blow, point for point, score for score, and even start getting some, like, what is that? Turnover in the red zone, walk away with no points. Can we get Carson Wentz can get us to the next round with a touchdown on this drive, and he does. Ice in his veins. 4th quarter comeback for Carson Wentz. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns on the day. Over 100 yards for Alshon. Deshaun almost got 100. Bad performance from Kirk Cousins as the Philadelphia Eagles, just like that in year one, are going to the NFC Championship game. I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to play the moments anyway if they come in and Papa Barrett. We will, because there's no chance in hell I'm just going to let the Dallas Cowboys roll over me if it gets a little ugly. But I can tell you right now, here in the snow, this is one game I think I want to see in my lifetime. Now we know Dallas sucks, and I can't see them getting to this point. We'll come here on third down, but I would love to see Philly Dallas winner goes to the Super Bowl at some point in my life. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Like I said, I've never seen Dallas. I don't think I've ever seen Dallas win a playoff game. Have they ever won a playoff game since I've been? Maybe one? Have they won a playoff game under Dak Prescott? I don't think. So Arcega-Whiteside takes the slant cheese all the way up to the red zone. Carson Wentz not playing well. 2 interceptions here in the first half. We're going to need this team to start picking it up because I'm not going to carry them across the line. It's year one. If I win a Super Bowl year one, most people are going to click off this video. But I also don't want to lose to Dallas. Real tough predicament I'm in here right now. But yeah, I don't know if Dallas ever won a playoff game, but I think, yeah. I think most Eagle fans would say, with everything on the line, the most important game, being able to say, like, I want to beat Dallas to go to the Super Bowl, that's a dream scenario. But unfortunately, it takes 2 to tango, and Dallas sucks, so don't really know. Wide open, Alshon Jeffrey, get out of bounds, old man. Alshon with his 31 speed here in Madden. Come on, let's go. Come on, offense. Let's go, Big O. Okay, we got to come out of fourth down. This Dallas Cowboy defense has been dynamic. It's 4th and 1. Miles Sanders, one of our best players. We're not going. Oh, we should be going behind the right side. Look, free runner. Miles Sanders tried it. Oh! Okay, broken ankles there. I don't know what corner that was, but that was broken ankles. At least you got something. You got a little something there. It's not looking good. Oh, we're not going to win. Come on. Yeah, it's over. And then I'm going to title this Unrealistic Rebuild because there's no way this happens. But we fall in the NFC Championship game, 24-26. There's going to be a lot of turnover this season for the Eagles. I don't know what our expectations should be for year 2. I'm expecting with Carson Wentz and company, we should definitely be contending for the playoffs. But this is, not a great way to start the rebuild. Losing to Dallas with the Super Bowl on the line. That's all I'm going to say. But hey, we got to see Miles Sanders literally murder a DB on the Dallas Cowboys. There's something to hang our hats on. Let's get into the offseason. Looking at the Pro Bowl, not seeing any dev traits that I need to manually do. Carson Wentz is your starter at quarterback. We got Zach Ertz made it for tight end. Jason Kelsey, your starting center, but he already has superstar dev. Brandon Brooks, starting guard, already superstar dev. Lane Johnson, starting right tackle, already superstar dev. Brandon Graham making it on the defense. Camus starting on defense again. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous paying him 4-year, $20 million, but it's starting to pan out. He played very well this year. He's getting a lot of respect and might have cost even more if I waited longer. But Eagles are represented well here in the Pro Bowl, year 1. That's the score of the Super Bowl. It's going to be a light free agency period. I know maybe we can make a play for Byron Jones. That's a name that's linked with the Philadelphia Eagles in real life right now. That's just a lot of money. I know we're going to get hit with that contract cheat. So I'm just keeping it light, smooth, easy here in year 1. Greg Ward, Boston Scott, bringing them back on affordable deals. That's about it. Interesting decision here. 5th-year option on Derek Barnett. We're gonna pick it up. We'll pick it up. I'm gonna gamble that we can get. He had 2 dev trait scenarios failed. If he gets it again next year, I think we have a guy that's fringe superstar dev. So I'm gonna gamble that he can hit that next year. We'll pick up that 5th-year option. We're sitting here at pick 30. What did I say? How did I start this rebuild? I said one thing. There's a perfect pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I have to do it. You already know right now I've pledged my undying allegiance to not reusing the same draft players, at least like waiting. We use Justin Fields in the Raiders. Maybe if we're on rebuild 27, 28, or 32, we could dip back in the Justin Fields pool. But Henry Ruggs was kind of a non-factor He's a perfect fit for the Eagles. He's a realistic fit for the Eagles. So I'm already breaking one of my kind of rules that I don't want to reuse players, but this is a perfect scenario for the Eagles. My apologies ahead of time. We know what he brings to the table. Henry Ruggs out of Alabama. The deep threat is going to be our selection at pick 30 because, of course, he would be undoubtedly the best player available when we make our selection. And I'm happy about it. So here's our draft recap. You saw the Henry Ruggs selection. Outside of that, in the second round, we got great value in Trey Adams, a guy with some injury history, but bringing him in might give us the luxury at keeping Dillard at guard and keeping Trey Adams at tackle. I mean, it just kind of gets better. I mean, he's a young lineman. We're an old offensive line. It was best player available. Third round, we got Darnay Holmes. Not a scheme fit, which was annoying, but I was impressed with the athleticism. He's our Philadelphia Eagle. Prototypical Pac-12 selection. He'll be a depth corner, but still 67 overall in the third round is not bad. Getting another burner at wide receiver in Brandon Ayuk. 67 overall, 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 93 speed. Good catching. Not as much of a deep threat as Ruggs, but definitely a guy legit 4.3 speed. Fifth round, depth linebacker Jordan Brooks out of Texas A&M. And he's actually Texas Tech, not Texas A&M. And then we have Braden Mann. All-world punter, 72 hidden dev out of Texas A&M. He's won all the awards, Pro Football Focus, everything. He's one of the most accomplished punters since Dixon came out, the guy that's the punter for the Seahawks. So that's a great selection. We'll fix the school here on Jordan Brooks, and we'll get into year 2. So as we kick things off, year 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles, we start off 85 overall. Not a bad spot to be. We definitely have some changes that have happened on the offense. So we got Boston Scott back. He's going to be our 1-2 punch with Miles Sanders. Alshon and Henry Ruggs will start at wide receiver. Arcega-Whiteside will be there. Greg Ward in the slot. Deshaun Jackson being more of a mentor backup role to Henry Ruggs. Offense remains the same. An option that we do have is making a Goddard or an Ertz our slot wide receiver so we can both utilize them. I don't know, man, what we're going to do just yet. Adams going to be filling in the massive shoes left behind by the bodyguard Jason Peters. We're going to keep Dillard in at left guard. Defensively, there's a change that I will have to show you. Brandon Graham will be D-tackle. He plays a little bit of that for the Eagles, slides inside on some packages. For this purpose, I'm going to move him so we can get Josh Sweat some meaningful snaps. The corners, Maddox, Jones, and LeBlanc will be our starters. Mills at free safety. Camus did go up dev trait from normal to start, which is great. I'm on fringe. I'm on the cusp of cutting Nigel Bradham. We free up $4 million in cap, depending on, when it comes time to re-sign people. We'll figure that out. I'm going to give TJ Edwards a start. Risky decision. Could blow back in my face. Getting a little maybe too cutesy here on the defensive side, but there's going to be a point in time where we're going to get young players, snaps, and development over aging veterans. And that's my decision here in year 2. Hopefully, it doesn't come back and bite us in the ass. I want to see a big year at Henry Ruggs as well, what a true deep threat will do in this offense that's not 41 years old and it's Deshaun Jackson. Actually, coming off a big victory over the 49ers, Jalen Mills got a dev trade increase. Hell yeah. Note from early buy, very early buy, we got a breakout scenario for Gennard Avery, outside linebacker, looking to get a star dev. So good luck against the Cleveland Browns, 250 yards. Tough, but not impossible. We're 2-1. It's too early to get a gauge of how the season's going to go. But contracts, we only got 2 options early. Jenkins, who, that's a tough one. I want to wait and see. But Sidney Jones is a guy I would love. We have no money. We have no money. We cannot re-sign anyone. All these guys are going to be free agents. 2 starting corners. What? How is our salary cap this bad? Can we... who's taking up... I know we got wide receivers that we could probably free up. Who's getting paid way too much money? We can't get out of Alshon. Deshaun's a mass. These are massive hits. What do we get? We get literally $1 million. Unless oh my God. There is not one player on this team that is going to free up any meaningful funds. Blake Jackson, massive hit. Okay, we'll get rid of Bradham. That's at least $4 million with the penalty. Wow. I mean, can we at least get one of, like, by freeing up that Bradham money, can we at least retain one of these corners? Not even close. Maybe Cravon LeBlanc. Maybe Stra. Maybe. This is brutal. And this is dope. Week 6 victory over Dallas. Henry Ruggs, superstar dev. Back-to-back years, our talented rookie. Miles Sanders got one last year. Henry Ruggs this year. Our rookie has got a dev trait increase mid-season. Ruggs, a true deep threat for the Eagles. It's a godsend for this offense and Carson Wentz. We are failing with dev traits on the defense. Avery and Derek Burnett both have failed dev traits, but we hit with our Arcega-Whiteside going up to star. So, once we can clear out some of the old heads, Deshaun, Alshon, I think our Arcega-Whiteside, Ruggs in particular, are going to be perfect successors already with dev traits in place to really take over and get into the 80s, maybe even 90s of overalls as this rebuild continues. And at the end of year 2, we just found a way to squeak in. I think that week 17 victory, 23-20 over the Redskins to make us 9-7, just got us in over the playoffs. We had a tiebreaker over the Giants. Dallas won the NFC East. So I guess the continued tradition of no back-to-back NFC East winners is here alive and well in Madden. So we're an 87 overall team. As far as dev traits, we had Ruggs, who I guess we drafted. He was hidden, but he was a star. He got upgraded to superstar. Our Arcega-Whiteside went from normal to star. That's it on the offense. Defensively, we had, again, 2 failed dev trait upgrade opportunities for Derek Barnett. I think that was actually it. It wasn't a whole lot on the defense. And we already saw our salary cap situation. We are not in a good spot. We are not... Not in a good spot. Now, this is why I picked the Eagles. I knew the Eagles were going to be good. Generally speaking, I'm not shocked we made the playoffs twice. But salary cap, from our team talent-wise, we are in an incredibly difficult spot. So we did make the playoffs. Who are we playing right away? The Dallas Cowboys? Okay, revenge. Revenge over last year's NFC Championship game. Statistically speaking, Carson Wentz, sensational. He's getting a dev trait based upon performance. 4,600 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, to 8 interceptions. He might be an MVP candidate. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns for Miles Sanders. Wentz also had 255 and 3 on the ground. So that's 4,900 yards and 44 touchdowns. Boston Scott chipped in 3 tutties. Receiving, we got 73 catches, 1,300 yards, and 9 touchdowns for Henry Ruggs as a rookie. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be lofty. I'm not going to be unrealistic. But I think a guy like Henry Ruggs, we're talking real-life landscape of the Eagles, a guy like Henry Ruggs would offer this and probably have this kind of opportunities and ceiling in the Eagles offense. That's how badly they need a deep threat. Ertz, 840 and 6. 706 for Arcega-Whiteside. Alshon chipping in 10 touchdowns. G. Ward, 503. 404 for Miles Sanders. Again, just wasting another year. Dallas Goedert. I mean, maybe we trade Goddard. I don't know. We got to make some decisions here when it comes to that. Defensively, Sidney Jones, of course, would have a great year in a contract year. Camus, 113 tackles. We had 10.5 sacks. Fletcher Cox, 9 from Derek Burnett, 7.5 from Avery, 7 from BG, inside a D tackle. Interceptions kind of low, but we're not a great secondary. We had the second offense in the NFL. We had the 30th defense. Okay, that explains 9-7. Carson Wentz is your league MVP in year 2 for his 9-7 Philadelphia Eagles. Josh Allen there as well. Love seeing that. Herbert doing big things for the Saints. It's going to be annoying that we have to go up against that. Carson Wentz is your offensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year went to Aaron Donald. Offensive rookie of the year went to Justin Herbert. Beating out our boy Henry Ruggs. I don't care. Ruggs already got a superstar dev. I'm happy with where he's at. Defensive rookie of the year went to Grant Delpit. QB, Carson Wentz. Running back went to Zeke for other individual awards. Not a lot of Philadelphia Eagles represented, but we do have a Super Bowl MVP, and we do get to kick out the playoffs with an opportunity to avenge our loss last season in the NFC Championship game against the 10-5-1 Dallas Cowboys to immediately find out who really is the best team in the NFC East here in year 2 of the rebuild. All right, let's go. Come on, we got the MVP. We got to be able to go into Jerry World and put up points. We got Henry Ruggs. We finally got a deep threat. Let's send Dak Prescott and those guys packing. They won the Super Bowl last year by putting up 63 points. Okay? We gotta bring them back down to reality. Let them know that they're not that good. So we're tied up 17 apiece here in the second half. Everything to play for. We don't have explosive plays here. We are grinding it out. We're playing like the Philadelphia Eagles did in real life. But our defense, our 30th ranked defense, seems to be holding the Dallas Cowboys in check. But we are just settling for far too many field goals here. We should have been able to put that game away a long time ago. My God, give me some touchdowns. That's like 4 straight drives, 5 drives in a row that have ended in field goal attempts. But it's enough to get the victory, playoff victory, wild card round. Carson Wentz, Dak, an ugly day. Let's just move on. 32-17, we knock out the defending Super Bowl champions and move on to the NFC divisional round. And then next up, the one team I don't want to see as an Eagle fan in the playoffs. We have Justin Herbert taking over for Drew Brees and his New Orleans Saints. This could be a rough one. In my lifetime, I've seen Philly take on New Orleans twice in the playoffs. And twice there has been 3 times actually, there's been crushing defeats. We had one time, Deuce McAllister went off. There was another time, it was Nick Foles and Chip Kelly. And then we had the Alshon drop. Bad memory. So we're down 8. We're keeping it competitive. I'm not feeling too good about our defense. Is very much playing like the 30th ranked defense. And our MVP quarterback is not really playing like an MVP quarterback. But can he put the team on his back? Touchdown, 2-point conversion. Now, I mean, we got a chance. Still touchdown 2. Oh, we turned it over. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on with the sim. It looked like stuff was happening. Stuff ended up not happening as we crash out of the playoffs yet again. That was our defense. Wentz did. I mean, you get 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards from your quarterback. You should win. Herbert went for 4 tutties. I mean, nice day for our white side. 120 yards on 7 touches, but not good enough, man. Year 2, still not good enough. It's an MVP winning season for Wentz, but we don't have a Super Bowl to show for it. There's still those Foles over Wentz guys. They're like, oh, well, Wentz got you the MVP, right? But he didn't get us the Super Bowl like Foles did. So that's always going to be looming. That dark cloud over the head of Carson Wentz is always going to be looming until we can finally win that Super Bowl. In year 2, another failed attempt. Wentz is your starting quarterback for back-to-back years, which means she didn't make the playoffs pretty much. Ruggs made it as a rookie. I like seeing that. Ertz is there. Kelsey's your starting center. Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. You know, the familiar faces. Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox. Of course, Sidney Jones will make the Pro Bowl as soon as we can't pay him any money. Jalen Mills is your starting free safety. Hey, Roddy McLeod's there, no longer on our team. But look at that. Moving Mills to safety has a big year. I love seeing that. God, I want a Super Bowl win. Just to affirm, we are right here, right before we have our last opportunity to re-sign players. I was like, all right, Sidney Jones made the Pro Bowl. Oh, and we're just $27 million in the hole. No issues. And this is what you inherit. When you pick the Philadelphia Eagles, you select them as your franchise. I haven't signed anyone in free agency. I haven't re-signed anyone to ridiculous deals. We got Camus Grugier-Hill on a 420. Swag. Dope. And you still got a $30 million hole you got to figure out. It's going to be an excellent offseason. I can't wait. So we're here in the offseason. We need to clear up $14.5 million to just have a team that would be legally playing in the NFL. So let's find out who is going to have to get cut. So we have Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, there's an easy one there. What's he got to free up? Like $7 million total minus the penalty. Deshaun, there's $8 million right there. Thank you, Eagles legend. I'll also shout thank you to Alshon Jeffrey. Can't forget what he's done. We're sitting pretty good here. We don't even come anywhere ahead with CML. That is a terrible contract. Going to the defense, BG. Again, got to purge, man. We have, well, you know what? What are we sitting at here? Let's get rid of Malik Jackson because we can keep Brandon Graham as a D tackle hybrid. Jackson made the most sense to get rid of. So where are we at now? We got to be clear. We probably got like what, 10 million? We have 10 million available. $17 million available as salary cap. There's some interesting names here for sure. Ooh. See, I don't really know where we're at in terms of who can we realistically sign? Like, I would love Keon O'Neal. We have enough money to give him a contract. Then we have it's one of those things. We just got kind of clear and our head above water when it comes to salaries here. We might, I actually wouldn't hate now that we have some money, bringing Sidney Jones back. Because there's no other bids on him right now, so we can kind of come in a little low. I say get Keanu O'Neal. Gator Bias says get Keanu O'Neal. But if we can bring Sidney Jones back on an affordable deal, we're gonna have to gamble that Edwards can continue to develop. Defensively, we got BG will be D tackle. Sweat could take over a defensive end. I mean, we're probably okay. Ruggs is an X factor. When did that happen? But we got our wide receivers, we got our running backs, we got our quarter. Okay, so I mean, if we can find a way to get Sidney Jones back on and still have our head a little bit above water salary cap wise, it's a little bit of a success. Even though it's a complete changing of the guards, especially at wide receiver. No Alshon, no Djax. It's getting younger, man. We haven't had any Super Bowls to show for it for Carson Wentz era. We got to change it up. So a few things to get out of the way. My draft classes are getting an error right now for year 2. So, I mean, if you watch the Raiders rebuild, we had 2 draft classes of real prospects. For right now, at least just for this rebuild, it should be good. I need really another day to work on it after the Super Bowl to fix my 2021 draft class. So we are already hopping into random generated players, which is a little annoying, but there's a glitch right now. It's kind of having like some UDFA show up that shouldn't. I don't know how to fix it just yet. But looking at this draft and looking at all these steals a little bit later on, especially this guy, hell yeah, Mr. Friedman. It's looking like a good draft class. So looking at where we need to get better, we do need a starting strong safety. This guy looks really damn good. This guy at free safety, we have no scouting, but from an athletic standpoint, looks really good. But I think we need a linebacker. First and foremost, we need a linebacker that could potentially slot inside. I think Conway is looking like pretty nice option here. Not a great combine. I mean, you look at all these guys, none of the linebackers that are highly touted. I mean, that's not bad. Pass coverage, Keenan Hennings. The stats look pretty good. That tackle looks beastly. Don't really need one. So I'm thinking we go linebacker. We will get, let's get Conway. We'll get him to be our first pick. 73 normal. That's a boring pick, even though he's number 17 in the draft. I kind of feel like TJ Edwards is starting to stunt just a little bit. And, I mean, this guy's coverage sucks. This might be a wasted pick, to be honest with you. God damn it. Our draft recap here as we get ready for year 3. We got Conway. Out of that, it was a solid draft class, but not a strong draft class. We got Kyle Bayless, strong safety, 69 out of Texas. He looks okay. You know, looks like your standard strong safety, and we don't really have a strong safety really on the roster. We got Lamar Young, 67 linebacker from Wyoming. We got a 67 corner, Ellis Matthews from Arkansas. We got a 68 tackle, Angel. We'll go Angel because it's not Angel. Angel Franklin from Fresno State. We got a 69 right tackle, Jack Palmer from TCU. And then, you know, it kind of whiffed here. There was some really high combine grades at tight end. It was pretty much a crapshoot. And then we got this guy. I fell for it. Dev Traylo, he's a hidden dev. He's 49 overall, but I saw a guy that was 236 pounds, and he ran a 4.40. There's no way I wasn't getting 91 speed. Just an interesting option here. I don't know. I don't really know if he's going to make the roster. But it could be a practice squad stash. I'm just a little bit annoyed that we had to do the beloved Eagles rebuild, and we don't get my 2 full real draft classes. But it is what it is, man. Madden is, especially this year, as a draft class creator, it's been really, really frustrating. So many bugs and glitches that at this point, if there's knowing that there's probably a couple corrupt players, it just wasn't right. I didn't want to ruin this whole what we've accomplished already through 2 years with the Eagles by having kind of a bum draft class. So again, 90% sure that for the third team we do for the realistic rebuilds, we'll get back to having our 2 draft classes. But there was some issues behind the scenes with that Raiders draft class that I didn't want to have to deal with here in the Eagles. But still, for a Madden generated draft class, not a bad start. Just like looking for a couple free agents just to try to stash on a runner. Paris Campbell's just chilling here. Sure if they deem that he was not worthy of making the roster there, we can get Shackelford could be a nice little center option here to tack on here. I think we had 2 or 3 roster spots open. So let's see what's going on the defense. There's usually a couple studs on the defense. 26. I want young guys that might be able to catch on and develop here. with our squad. 23-70. Let's look at the corners here. Got to use all my urges for my Gator bias, not to sign them right off the rip. Deshaun Elliott at free safety is not bad. Screw it. We'll have the one free roster spot, a couple free roster spots. Here's our team as we get ready for year 3. We have our MVP quarterback, Carson Wentz, up to a superstar dev trait. Henry Ruggs, gut, superstar X Factor, double me. Again, I feel like this stuff makes no sense because he's a speed wide receiver. Shouldn't you just give him like a speed? Like, isn't there one of those devs, one of those X factors you can give for speedster wide receivers? But either way, got it. Super Bowl week to an X factor, which is unreal. He's already a game changer. We got Miles Sanders, superstar. Ertz, everyone else here familiar face. Offensive line still intact. Got to find a way now this year, maybe to get Dallas Goedert involved as a wide receiver. He might be our 4th or 5th wide receiver. Even though we just brought in Paris Campbell, maybe we can put Goddard ahead of Ayuk. Flip to the defense, though. So we got BG still holding it down as an undersized D tackle. Derek Barnett, Josh Sweat at defensive end. Maddox, we brought back Sidney Jones in free agency. Emmanuel Mosley, who was just, again, one of these, like, late before the regular season. He was still chilling there. Had some success in real life with the 49ers, but we brought him in. I mean, still 77-25. There might be something there. Jalen Mills, star dev. Camus, superstar dev. Hell yeah. And Bayless, our second-round draft pick out of Texas, will be our starting strong safety. So definitely a changing of the guard. A lot of veterans we lost. The salary cap hell that we knew what was going to happen when we took over the Philadelphia Eagles. We're feeling it right now. So it's going to be, a lot more important for our star players this year to go on and carry the team because we don't have the depth that we have had years past. Really early bye here in year 3, and, things are not going well. Frustrated receiver Fletcher Cox wants to stop the losing streak. We're 1-3. NFC East has been turned on its head. Usually the Eagles and Cowboys are fighting up for the top spot, and we're bottom dwellers. Looking at these, what do we got? Greg Ward, I think a lot of these guys are already in the schemes that I'm trying to do. And we talked about this. Not every player I'm going to try and just only upgrade their whatever their main scheme fit is going to be, but when I spend their skill points. But a lot of them I'm going to try to. It helps with their, gives you an XP boost or something like that. But, yeah, man. Okay, we got to figure out some contracts here. So we got Zach Ertz, Paris Campbell, right out the rip. What's a 5-year deal look like? Under $3 million. That's actually not too bad for a 24. We got off the scrap heap. Sure. Priorities here. Jason Kelsey, 1-year deal. Yep. Don't have anyone to replace you. Derek Barnett, we don't have anyone being groomed at defensive end, so let's get you locked up. He wants a little bit more money. Vontae Maddox, we are very light at corner. Let's give you 5-year. He wants more money. Of course you do. Literally, we got to re-sign almost all these. Avery has to come back, most likely, depending on the terms. Josh Sweat for sure, because he's only 24. We probably can move on from Brandon Graham. But here's the big one. What do we do at tight end? Zach Ertz is 30.91. Goddard's 26.85. Do I think that in 4 years, let's get Dally lined up here. Keeping him, he's 31, 4.7 mil. He wants more money. Again, we're going to try to get Goddard locked up. We might have to move on from Zach Ertz. I think that's what we're probably going to do. Year 3, very forgettable. Don't lose that Week 17 victory. 35-17 over the Redskins. Fool you. We were terrible. 5-11. Bottom dwellers in the East. You can only lose so much time. It's your window. Our window kind of closed. We're getting ready to retool, rebuild. We didn't have a great draft. We didn't have a great off season. We only brought back one player in Sidney Jones. So, this was a down year, man. It's a down year. Carson Wentz played okay. Miles Sanders was fine. Receiving, Greg Ward, leading receivers, 760 and 6. Ertz was okay. Ruggs, disappointing. Sega Whiteside, not bad. Sanders had 7 receiving touchdowns. Camus made a bunch of tackles. Picks were okay. 3 from the rookie Bayless. I like seeing that actually leading the team. 9.5 sacks, BG, excelling as an undersized D tackle. 9 sacks for Fletcher Cox. And of course, the 2 free agents, Avery and Brandon Graham, are having way more sacks than Sweat and Derek Barnett. Just cuz. Yearly awards, MVP Baker Mayfield. In the NFC Offensive Player of the Year went to Justin Herbert. Defensive Rookie Player of the Year went to Aaron Donald. Rookie of the Year, Burks. Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Lamb Bayless runner-up here at number 2. And for individual awards, not after this down year. There's no way in hell we're going to have anyone. Let's just get a quick turnaround, man, get into the offseason. That is, what a waste of a year. What a waste of the prime of our quarterback, Carson Wentz. First free agency period, we actually have money to spend. Literally nothing really that fits our team. No scheme fits. You know, land of Leighton Vander Esch could be nice, but we just aren't built salary cap wise to have almost $100 million linebacker. Wide receivers, lots of running backs. So we did have one offer. It's Bilal Nichols, 25. He's a defensive end, 78 overall, but we're going to obviously give him a nice little offer here. It's just over $3 million cap hit to slide in and be defensive tackle too with Fletcher Cox. He'd be actually a really good value free agency signing, but we need to have a really, really good draft here to turn things around because free agency has not been helping us out. However, for the 5th-year option, we will actually pick up the 5th-year option on lineman Andre Dillard. He's almost an 80 overall, so I think it's pretty smart to keep him around, especially because the rest of the offensive line, we already had the retirement of Jason Kelce this offseason. It's only a matter of time till Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson are at the end of the rope as well. Wasn't a need, but we got the second best player in the draft with the number 6 pick. Malcolm Conrad, just couldn't pass him up. Such a versatile DB. Could probably even play free safety, a little bit of safety. 95 speed, 81 zone. Yeah. And then we followed up with another DB, Stephen Anthony from Michigan State, 76. Hidden dev. Oh, yeah. So draft recap time. You saw a couple of the studs. The corner, the strong safety. We got Paris Griffin, a 72 wide receiver out of Tennessee. Scheme fit, 92 speed. Not too bad. Good route runner. What was that? 92 what? Agility. Good. We got a linebacker, Martin Hunt out of North Carolina. He's a 70 normal. 61 tackles, 67 tackle. But anytime you get something like this, beauty. If we can get one of these two guys come out anything better than star, I'm laughing. So to kick off year 4, we have one issue that I'm going to try to address via trade. But we don't have a center. Brandon Brooks is right there. He's not going to be our center. Jason Kelce retired. It was, we're expecting it. So we don't have a center on the roster. There's no centers really worth drafting. There's a guy I was already kind of sneaking a peek on the trade block who could potentially be in play. But you now look at it like who's available for trade. We got Anthony. We got Conrad. Mosley's kind of now expendable a little bit. I look at wide receiver. I mean, technically, I like G. Ward, but something like Paris Campbell could also be available on the market. So I'm looking here at the trade center, go in the trade block, pretty much anywhere on the offensive line. And looking here at right tackle, Calvin Throckmorton, offensive lineman from Oregon. He's 25-75. He's actually a guy a lot of people project has to move interior. Like he is at the Senior Bowl, was really, really bad at tackle. So I'm looking here at the Saints. If we can make a straight swap, of course they have too much salary cap. Give me someone else. Give me your worst guy. Give me someone that I can absolutely do not need whatsoever. I will eat their salary cap so we can make this happen. Oh my God. I don't know if I want to eat that much salary cap to get a center because we are not within our own right sitting pretty when it comes to salary cap here. But Jesus, it's not looking good. Okay, let's see if we can do it. Make it happen. I'll eat one bad contract this Easton $7-some million if we can make this happen. There we go. So we flipped Paris Campbell, wide receiver 4, for Throckmorton, who's going to be able to be the hopefully new anchor and Jason Kelce replacement on our offensive line. So year 4, this is our roster. Now we got Throckmorton chilling there. Easton, who actually took on for that trade for the salary contract, it's actually straight up just frees up $7.5 million in cap. So just as easily get him off the book. So here's our team. Doesn't need this offense to get on point. The Wentz, Ruggs, Sanders, Arcega-Whiteside needs to work out. Goddard needs to step up as tight end 1. No more Zach Ertz there. I don't know why Brandon Brooks is not at right guard. We'll fix that, obviously. Flipping to the defense. So, yeah, we got our 2 new rookies, Conrad and Anthony. They need to step up. We need some big-time plays. Our linebacking core still is kind of young. Outside of Camus, not a lot of development. Barnett and Sweat in particular has not been developing great. We just need something good roster-wise to happen here for the Eagles in year 4. All right, we're here just around the bye. 4-3 in year 4. A lot better. Tied for first in the East. Back where we belong. Contracts. We got some money we got to spend. First up, we got Fletch Cox. Got to get paid 1 year deal. Absolutely. No way we're letting him go. We'll make sure we can hammer out a deal there. Miles Sanders at running back. One of the few prolific, explosive players on this offense. We'll get him. JJ is actually developed into a pretty nice looking wide receiver. We'll see if he'll take a 5-year deal, which he will. Outside of that, we've drafted enough that Mosley's kind of expendable at this pace. So we'll just make sure we re-sign Fletch. And hopefully we keep on the trajectory of the season and get into the playoffs in year 4. A little bit of good news here. Miles Sanders got a dev trade increase from superstar to superstar X Factor in a, I think it was week 8 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. 42-35, big shootout. So that's, hey, something positive for the offense. And at the end of year 4, no playoffs yet again. 9-7, second place in the NFC East. That's so annoying. This is a lot harder of a rebuild. We've got 1 divisional title and 2 playoff appearances in 4 years. I thought it'd be a lot better for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, statistically, Wentz, good year. Almost 4,700 passing yards, 35 touchdowns. We got 1,200 yards, 11 tutties for Miles Sanders, 3 touchdowns Wentz, 9 touchdowns Boston Scott. Like seeing that. Receiving, we got 65 catches, 13, almost 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns for Henry Ruggs. Big year, breakout year for Dallas Goedert. No more Zach Ertz looming over his shoulder. 76 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns. Legit tight end 1. 805 for G. Ward, 5-5 for Sanders, 5-3 from Whiteside. Defensively, Camus solid, 110 tackles. We got 3 picks, Sidney Jones, 12.5 sacks, Fletcher Cox, 5 from Barnett. Still not getting nearly enough sacks from this unit. Yearly awards MVP went to Russell Wilson. Wentz coming in at number 4 in the NFC Offensive Player of the Year. Went to Russell Wilson. Wentz at 3. Defensive Player of the Year went to Aaron Donald. Rookie of the Year. Conrad got defense. 1 and 2 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I got to check out those guys' dev traits. For individual awards, best wide receiver, Henry Ruggs. Goddamn right he is. All right, let's find out our dev traits, and hopefully we can get something going for the final year of Episode 1 for the Philadelphia Eagles Realistic Rebuild. Let's find out the dev traits of our 2 DBs that we got. Throckmorton's up to a 77 center. So, I mean, we flipped a 77 Paris Campbell for a 77 center. Makes sense. That was a good trade. Looking at it in hindsight, we have Miles Sanders, who's an X factor. You look at maybe, I don't know if tight ends exactly can go up in depth trade. We might have a depth trade for Goddard if it's based off stats. He was really good there. Steven Anthony, superstar X factor, shut down, strong safety. He was a 3rd-round pick, didn't attend the combine out of Michigan State. Superstar X factor safety, that is dope. Conrad coming out just as a star, which is, that's fine. But we got an X factor just like that, which is unreal. Why do we only have 1 ability there? That doesn't make sense. Why can't I use his ability? Aren't you allowed to have... You're only allowed 3 total, I guess? Yeah, it makes sense. I thought you were allowed 3 on offense, 3 on defense. But obviously now, in February, this is the perfect time to learn how X factors work in franchise. But we're standing here. This is so far a disappointing rebuild as me as an Eagle fan. So we need a big year 5. Pro Bowlers back up just a little bit, getting some recognition here. Sidney Jones is corner 1. Camus made it. Fletcher Cox made it. On the offensive line, Brandon Brooks is there. Dallas Goedert's tight end 2. Henry Ruggs is wide receiver 2. Carson Wentz, quarterback yet again. But no manual dev traits that we have to hand out. Free agency, our final free agency of the video. There's pretty much 2 players that look interesting. We only have money to sign 1. I like McCole Hardman here at wide receiver, but with Ruggs and Whiteside, it's like, do we replace our boy G. Ward, who's been fine as a wide receiver 3, or I'm actually going to go in here on a linebacker, Mack Wilson, right outside linebacker, but he can literally play left or start at middle linebacker. My plan right now is to move him inside to middle linebacker. We'll knock that up here, see if we can get a little more separation on the Bengals for the second bid there. They're up to 96. He might not come because Camus there, who's actually a superstar X factor now, but I'd love to be able to land Mack Wilson in free agency and then improve our linebacking core. Beautiful. We landed Mack Wilson. So, the Raiders rebuild, the first realistic rebuild, we didn't sign. I think we signed 2 free agents the entire time. And really, we only spent money on 1 when we brought in Chris Jones. So because we didn't have the second realistic draft class, this Eagles rebuild is going to be a little bit more reliant on getting some names that via free agency. So we got Mack Wilson, going from an 85 outside linebacker to an 83 inside, but that's obviously a massive jump from what we previously had, and that's a big get for our defense. Fifth-year option, this one makes no, don't have to think about it. Henry Ruggs, one of the best deep threats, one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League, so without a shadow of a doubt, we're picking up his fifth-year option. And for our final draft, pretty much best player available is where we were at. And look at that. No one below a 70. In terms of base overall, one of the best drafts we've ever had. Starting from the bottom, we got 270 offensive linemen, a 71 D tackle in the third round, a 70 defensive end. The ages aren't great. 23, 23, 24. This is our big one. Arsenio Arnold did attend the combine. Last player we drafted last year, the safety that didn't have the combine, came out Superstar X Factor. We got Fletcher Cox returning on a one-year deal, so getting his successor kind of was my thinking, and he's almost a scheme fit. 76 hit and dev, 86 strength, 84 finesse move, terrific athlete, 82 speed, 84 acceleration on a 300-plus pounder. This guy is an absolute stud. Fingers crossed, it's Superstar or better. All right, year 5, final year of part 1 of the Eagles rebuild. We only have one divisional title. We do have a championship appearance, but we're not the Colts. We're not putting that up on the old scoreboard that we were NFC finalists, So looking at our squad here as we're gearing up, Carson Wentz has been playing really, really good. I need him to play great, to be honest with you. Miles Sanders and Ruggs are X factors. Arcega Whiteside's developing nicely. Greg Ward's just solid. Dallas Goedert coming off a breakout year. Did not go up in dev trait. Like I said at the very beginning of the realistic rebuilds, I think tight end's a position. The dev trait system does not work properly. So if I ever get a tight end that's, say, tight end 1 in the Pro Bowl, much like my offensive lineman, I will give them a manual dev trait boost because I know it is glitched out for that position. Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks still holding on. Offensive line, generally speaking, still a strength of this team. Flipping to the defense, the front 4, we got Nichols here. It's one of those things, man, we might want to let Arnold. I know we just signed Nichols as well, but I mean he's going to be solid, right? I feel like we should let Arnold start right now, get some snaps, maximize the youth, maximize the ability, and then when Fletcher Cox goes, Arnold might be the one, and Nichols can be the run stuffer on that defensive line. Burnett's almost in the 90s. Our corners are solid. Maddox 84 star, Sidney Jones 84 star, and we got Conrad 83 star. Jalen Mills, pretty much his peak, but he's still a solid playmaker. Camus, old now. He's, 30, 29, 30, but he's a superstar X factor with that zone hawk ability. We brought in Mack Wilson in free agency. Conway, he was a first-round pick 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, first-round pick 2 years ago. He's solid. He's just a guy. We had a couple bad drafts. And bad's relative, but we didn't have studs. We weren't getting guys like Anthony, who's a goddamn superstar X Factor. We got him in the third round, shut down superstar X Factor, and it's actually enabled now, which I love seeing. Why wasn't it enabled before? I don't know why. I don't know really how to use all this. Someone walk me through it. Hold my hand in the comment section. But generally speaking, our team's really solid. Special teams unit, you know what you get. So year 5, I'm firmly expecting us to get our second divisional title and make a very legitimate playoff push. All right, coming off a shootout victory win here, week 7, we have 2 breakout players. One I know for sure we got it in JJ Arcega Whiteside, getting himself a superstar dev trait. So nice to see we've been able to turn his career around. Also, we had one of our linebackers missed it. County. Not surprised. Defense did not play particularly well. But we're 4-2 at the halfway point of the season. First place in the NFC East. Looking for at least our second NFC East title for part 1 of the rebuild. Contract at the midway point. We got Fletcher Cox. Definitely want to re-up with him, even if it's just for a 1-year deal. He wants a little bit more money. Andre Dillard at guard, 2 years, maybe even 3 would be pretty okay if we can get that to happen. Trey Adams at left tackle. He's definitely established himself as a very nice left tackle, so we'll give him a 5-year deal, around 50-some mil. If he'll take that, he wants, of course, more money. Other negotiations. I mean, G Ward's at a tough spot because we know what we get. He's definitely replaceable. I like him. We'll have to probably wait until the offseason to really make a decision there. Punter, what is the value in a punter? Can we get him to less? Can I get him under $2 million? That'd be perfect. Hey, he wants more money. Everyone wants more money. Look at the depth, guys. I think probably Throckmorton. We just traded for him. We probably can get him on a 5-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal. Reasonable, probably $3.5 million cap hit. So Throckmorton, Man, Trey Adams, and definitely Fletcher Cox are going to get themselves a new deal. We probably do need to move on from Camus, however, because he's only going to start regressing at 29. Well, at the end of year 5, we made the playoffs. You're going to have to run the gauntlet through the wild card. But hey, there we go. We get our second NFC East title of the rebuild. Few and far between. But I'm feeling pretty good about where our team's at. Throughout the year, we did have the one dev trade that we saw with Arcega-Whiteside going from star to superstar. Other than that, I don't think we had any other real scenarios. The linebacker, Conway had one scenario pop up that we failed to achieve. We still don't know the dev trait on Arnold, but it looks like a pretty good decision to move him into D-tackle too over Bilal Nichols right away. So that's looking good. As for, I don't know what's going on here with everything else. Why is this taking so long? Let's look at our stats. Carson Wentz played pretty damn well. 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. I will take that. 1,100 yards, 9 tutties for Sanders. We got 3 and 6 from Boston Scott. On the receiving standpoint, over 1,000 yards for Henry Ruggs. G. Warb, the breakout year, of course, in his contract season. Almost 900 yards, 10 touchdowns at the slot. 780 and 8 for Arcega-Whiteside. 707 from Goddard. Those are all very acceptable numbers. Big year Mac Wilson, paying dividends. The first time we really splurge in free agency here with the Eagles. And we got a linebacker that gives us 124 tackles, 9 TFLs, 7.5 sacks, and an interception, which is dope. Leads the team in sacks. We got 7 sacks, Fletcher Cox, 5 from, Barnett and Josh Sweat have definitely been disappointing for sure at defensive end for us. 5 picks from Malcolm Conrad, 4 for Maddox. I like that as well. Those are our best interception numbers of the rebuild. MVP went to Mr. Lamar Jackson. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Year, Cam Newton, who's now the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. Weird. Carson Wentz at 9. Defensive Player of the Year went to Eric Kendricks. Mac Wilson coming in at number 6. Offensive Rookie of the Year went to this guy. Defensive of the Year went to this guy. Arnold coming in at 4. QB Stafford, who's now the quarterback of the Packers. Weird. And those are your... Oh, Strap. It's so annoying we couldn't re-sign him. Having a really, really good year. Career year, if you will, for the divisional rival Washington Redskins. But at least we made the playoffs. And we have this game here against the Cowboys. You better believe we're going to play some games. Let's get into it. All right, it's a snow game. You all know how much I hate snow games, but I don't know what superstar ability this is, but it's like the second time in open space. If we can get that juke move for Miles Sanders is LaShawn McCoy levels of nasty. We got a nice little touchdown there. We'll Papa Bear this one. I feel confident we should get a win here. Up 14-3. We'll hop in maybe next time we stall out. 21-3. Dallas is not ready for this cold weather. Philly's eating in this cold weather. That was an instant touchdown for Dallas. I feel like we need to hop in sooner rather than later. We'll come in this drive here, try to kill this game off with another score. Come on. We need Henry Ruggs to beat him out the line. 98 speed. We just chuck it up. Oh, almost picked off. Risky throw. Let's just go to the screen. Something simple. Get Miles Sanders out into space. He's our playmaker with the ball in his hands. They do read it fairly well, but we get great blocks. The juke is... What is that juke? I don't think I've ever had a running back have that. That is so overpowered. Didn't work that time. Trying to kill this game off. Big tackle behind the line of scrimmage for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a high-scoring game. I feel like anytime I play against Dallas, it's really high-scoring. But one first down, this game's over. A lot of work to go. 17 yards. I don't want to throw it because we know the juke move is filthy. Can we hit him again? Oh, and a spin. Oh my God, Miles Sanders. He's like a 91 over running back. He's one of the best running backs in the league. He's filthy. He is filthy. Let's get here with a victory. All right, there we go. Nice victory. Hopping in, get some gameplay. Wasn't impressed with Carson Wentz, to be honest with you. Henry Ruggs wasn't running past everyone like I was hoping. I think he had a couple big plays with the sim. But Miles Sanders, getting the kid on the... Get me on the sticks. Miles Sanders, human juke machine. A lot of people do see a lot of parallels between his style of running and what LaShawn McCoy Shady brought to the Philadelphia Eagles. Wentz played outstanding in the sim. Wow. And every time I came in, Henry Ruggs was getting body bagged off the line of scrimmage. But I guess the sim, 6 catches, 173 yards, as the Philadelphia Eagles are moving on to the NFC divisional round. It's just that much sweeter knocking out the Dallas Cowboys in a shootout. All right, an interesting game. Much like the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks are the other team that Philly just has not ever played well against since I've been a fan. The two teams is without a shadow of a doubt in the NFC that I hate playing against as an Eagle fan are the Seahawks and Saints. So yeah, I would love to not have to come in and play this game, and I love my team, just the team that we built to knock off Seattle and get in the NFC Championship game. We're playing very well right now. Defense stout, yet to give up a touchdown. 24-6 is looking like it'll be the score as we enter the fourth quarter. 27-6, bearing a complete collapse. We should have just punched our ticket to the NFC Championship game, and it's looking like Russell Wilson's gonna have a chance. 41 seconds left, and now magic. Big time game there. Neither quarterback played particularly well. It was, I guess, a defensive game. Two really nice teams just slugging it out. But the Eagles did just enough to get to our second NFC Championship rebuild. NFC Championship rebuild or NFC Championship game of the rebuild. That one sounds better. Dude, those... Okay, you guys have seen those like weird menus. It just simmed me the championship week. It just simmed that. What? I hit A once, and it simmed 2 weeks. I mean, I was going to super sim it anyway. I wasn't going to hop in and play the game. So, I mean, neither here nor there, I suppose. It wasn't like I was playing all the gameplay, so... But I don't know, man. I probably would have hopped in. Maybe. Most likely. Especially if it was that low scoring. Like, if it would have been 10-0 in the fourth quarter, there's no way I would have not hopped. Come on. I need a new controller. That's what I need. That's not... I don't want to end the rebuild like... I mean, we got a part two, I guess. If we didn't have a part two, I'd be, man, Henry Ruggs did everything he could in that game. 9 catches, 150 yards. Defensively, Camoon, probably his last appearance for the Philadelphia Eagles, 13 tackles, had a sack, interception, Malcolm Conrad. God damn it, man. Stupid controller. I literally just simmed from that victory we had over the Seahawks, and then it took me to this. Took me to the Pro Bowl. All right, my bad, fellas. Well, good news. The good news is because now I have like an extra 20 minutes. I'm going to go record the debut episode of the franchise mode, our brand new franchise mode, the undrafted one that you guys are going to be excited for on Super Bowl. God, I have my sincerest apologies. We're going to come back bigger, badder, stronger than ever in part 2 of the Eagles rebuild. We got the foundation here. We have an MVP for Carson Wentz already in the book. We have the best deep threat in the National Football League, the most elusive running back in the National Football League. Arcega-Whiteside's a superstar. Arnold, yes! Arsenio Arnold emerged as a superstar X-Factor fearmonger. We drafted him to replace Fletcher Cox, and we replaced a fearmonger with a new fearmonger. So I'm telling you right now, if you get, this is just speculation, but Anthony was the exact same. A guy that didn't attend the combine, but has a hidden dev. So far, we're 2 for 2 with those guys being superstar X-Factors. So just something to keep an eye on. So yeah, trying to just make everyone forget that we just straight up simmed the NFC Championship game here in year 5. So annoyed. I'm gonna go buy a new controller, man. This was on the controllers. Acting super laggy. It's stupid. But thank you guys for watching this episode. We'll be back probably Monday or Tuesday with part 2 of this rebuild. And as an Eagle fan, the fact that we have yet to win a Super Bowl and we only have 2 NFC East championships, we're going to be going hard part 2. Trust me about that. I guarantee we're going to win a Super Bowl. But thank you guys for watching. As always, tomorrow, the new franchise debut episode. It's going to kind of be like the groundwork, explain the whole series, and probably meeting and making our team. That's dropping tomorrow, so hope you guys do tune in for that. But thank you for watching. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch you back on the next one. Peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not never. Not me, not me, not